Basically, in a layman's term, NLP is nothing but because you're training your mind, you're training your neurons to respond in a particular way. So, first, any transformation starts.
Negative thinking actually impacts me, and how when I say positive about myself that I can do it, how this actually changes my behavior, my attitude. What do you think is more important? Is it IQ or a person's emotional intelligence or emotional quotient?
Everybody's first question is, what will I get in return? But that
Hmm.
what will I get in return comes at the last.
So, hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Speak Yatra. And today we have the founder of DS Image Consulting. She is Ms Dharshani Sivakumar. She is a transformative coach, soft skill trainer, image consultant, NLP practitioner, emotional intelligence practitioner, life coach, motivational speaker, POSH trainer. Have I missed anything, ma'am? मेरी तो सांसें फूली थी when I was introducing the qualifications of yours.
Now you have mentioned everything. Go ahead.
Oh no, one thing I forgot. You are also a TEDx speaker.
Yes, I am.
So thank you so much first of all for accepting the invitation, ma'am. It's a privilege
My
to have you
pleasure.
today. So, ma'am, today there will be a lot of discussion about various things. The main key pointers where we will be discussing will be firstly NLP, because most of the people
Okay.
don't know. We'll talk about some leadership and emotional intelligence. So, ma'am,
Yes.
moving to the first question, I have tried NLP in my life. There was a phase when
Okay.
I was low confident personality, and I used to say that hoga nahi hoga, this kind of things. And I got a sir who helped me in this. For those who don't know about NLP, can you just introduce NLP to them? And when we don't have the knowledge of something, we have a lot of misconceptions. Sometimes we hear it here and there, and we have misconception. So two things. First, what
Mm.
is NLP? And if you can just clear some misconceptions.
Yeah. First of all, thank you for this wonderful opportunity. I'm glad that you reached out and asked, are you interested to, come as a guest on my podcast? So coming to your first question, so basically NLP is nothing but it's called your neuro-linguistic program. Now, as a child or as an individual, at any given age, we must have, tried connecting the dots. The Magic Pot magazine which you've got, or in the newspaper, or when you're sitting in the restaurant, you find all these fun activities to do with. Basically, in a layman's term, NLP is nothing but what kind of behavior what kind of action is leading to what kind of behavior, what kind of behavior is giving you that kind of a result. So basically, say you want to start waking up every day at 5 a.m. What can help you to wake up at 5 a.m.? It starts the previous evening, what ought you do.
Okay.
So it's more of the habits, the behavior, the daily things which we do. Most common example, people start scrolling, sitting in the bed, scrolling on the phone. Do you think your mind is going to relate with phone or sleep? Definitely phone, because you've been doing that.
Yep.
Basically, that is NLP. Yeah. This is one part. The second part is the way you talk to yourself. Are you telling a positive things about yourself, or are you telling a negative things about yourself? See, NLP is more of a, or rather, your behavior, all these things, more of a holistic approach. Misconception, I feel it is more of people don't realize even the things you talk to yourself is also NLP. Because you're training your mind, you're training your neurons to respond in a particular way, which many people still don't know. I don't know, different people will have different perspective to this. But the habits which you have anchored, say for example, if you're anchoring your bed with sleep, your mind will know, okay, this is the time to sleep. I have this habit that my bedroom is a gadget free zone. You'll not find any gadgets until expect your alarm clock. You don't find anything in my room, bedroom especially. And I only use that room only to relax or go and sleep. I don't use anything else for that room. I don't use anything else for anything else. So, first, any transformation starts with self awareness. See, where if you now you have recently started podcast. Now, as the day goes, you learn a lot of things. You start improvising what you have learned, and that is also kind of a training your mind. So that is also kind of a neuro linguistic programming. It's not something invented, or it's not something discovered. It's just that we know we have been doing all through all of these years. Or rather, it's not an invented science, it's just a discovered science. But still, people don't know about these things.
A wonderful answer, ma'am. You mentioned about most of the times we don't know and we speak negative about ourselves. That positive thinking you mentioned. So, how that negative thinking actually impacts me, and how when I say positive about myself that I can do it, how this actually changes my behavior, my attitude. If you can decode the science behind this.
Yes. Okay. Whoever is going to listen to this later, try this experiment, small experiment. Just tell yourself three times, I cannot do it.
Hmm.
Can you just try it out right now? Just tell
I
yourself out loud, I can't do it.
I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it.
How are you feeling at the moment?
It
Little
actually
negative?
decreases. Yeah, it actually decreases the kind of dopamine or those hormones. That negative energy.
So, words are not just words, it's energy and it's emotion what you spread out. See, the easy science is um, you tell this in, along with you sitting in a sad if you feel sad, how do you pose yourself, or how do you posture yourself in your body language? With that, if you start telling these things, again it's going to go like a spiral. But if you're standing tall, if your shoulders is rolled back, if your chest is wide open, and you say, I can do it, or I will try my level best to do it, there's a difference. There's no science behind it. As simple as that, the words you use, the words you talk to yourself affect the way you feel. And if you're not well groomed, again it's going to affect. The way you groom yourself affects the behavior. The behavior affects the way you feel also. So it's a cycle. But what happens when people become aware about certain things that I'll have to change, they get irritated. They don't want to, because that process itself is frustrating. So as simple as that, in any emotion, your breathing pattern is something which will change.
Hmm.
Now, if you start talking negatively, I'm not saying negativity won't come, but don't get attached. It's just a passing cloud in the sky.
Hmm.
But, at the same time, you should be rewarding yourself with the smallest milestones which you achieve on a day to day basis, so that you have that mental stability to handle that negativity or your failures which comes in your way.
Yes, ma'am. Like when we dress up nicely, you talked about grooming. When we sit straight, when we walk straight, and if we see a mirror and we can see the reflection, actually we feel positive that I'm dressed nicely, I'm
True,
groomed,
true,
I'm standing tall.
true.
Yeah, positive change. I mean, when we speak positive, it actually creates an aura. When we say that we can't do it, we are actually declining the possibilities or the opportunities.
True.
So we are stopping this NLP right now. Now let's move to some emotional intelligence part. So
Go on.
in like our parents also, they say that this person's IQ is this, so and so personality's IQ is this. What do you think is more important? Is it IQ or a person's emotional intelligence or emotional quotient that is that is more important?
See, if you can have good IQ. If you don't have EQ, you can't succeed. It's not just about your IQ. Say, for example, you're running your own business or you're running your own brand. If you're not able to emotionally handle yourself, you cannot call yourself a CEO of a company, because at any given situation, your life is going to throw you at ups and downs. But either you can think yourself as, why this is happening, why is this happening to me, why is God, universe punishing me like this. Either you can think it like this, or you can think, okay, what is this particular situation trying to teach me? Same thing. I didn't do anything else. I just changed the words which I used.
Hmm.
So if you have good IQ, but today if you take up students, no one has that smartness or no one has this courage to come forward and introduce themselves. Then where is the, you have a lot of IQ, but you have a lot of fear that I can't come and talk in front of people. I think both are equally important, but the how you navigate yourself, how you handle yourself is gonna define your success.
Yeah, I know some people who
So
are really good at what they do, but sometimes when things go down, sometimes if their work is not getting success, their projects are not getting success, then they become very emotionally down. That hoga nahi hoga. This kind of negativity hits a lot. I have seen a lot of entrepreneurs doing really well, and the one thing that I observe is, if it is anything negative that they are experiencing, they're like, let's give it a shot, ho jayega, try to karte hain. So that emotional IQ, that I should say emotional quotient, is something really important. You have that knowledge, you have that brain, but when the negative part comes, how you deal with that, because that is going to come, no matter how successful you are or where you are, that is going to come. How you handle that? If you fumble there, that will actually lower your IQ's power. So ma'am,
because I'll give you
like
a very simple example.
please.
When you plant a seed in the soil, everybody's first question is, what will I get in return? But that
Hmm.
what will I get in return comes at the last, which many people don't still realize it.
Hmm.
Okay, if I have to put an effort to something, the instant question would be, what is in return for me? Because flowers or fruits is the last thing to bloom in a plant, which you're asking it for the first place. That doesn't happen. Very simply put.
Yeah, beautiful example. So ma'am, what are some of the habits that actually destroy this emotional intelligence without even people realizing that? Most of the times, when we don't even think about this, today we are discussing about emotional intelligence, but most of the people around, they do a lot of actions on a daily basis, but those small actions, they're actually destroying the emotional intelligence, even they're not realizing that. Is it just negative thinking about ourselves, that when you say that hoga nahi hoga, this kind of thing, will it happen, or is it something else also?
Again, another great question which needs to be answered and which needs more awareness is, these days what is happening is, when we get angry, when we get frustrated, or when we get irritated, or when we get fearful, what is instantly we do? we start ignoring that emotion and we start scrolling on our phone and get that adrenaline rush. The same adrenaline rush, you can get it through, okay, don't try to take decisions or don't try to do anything when the emotions are at its peak level. Like, very simple example, when you're riding a bicycle on a slopey road, in the beginning, if you try to control your speed, you would be able to control. Otherwise, your cycle is going to crash down somewhere down the hill. Definitely. In the same fashion, when you see, emotions comes for a reason. When I say reason, it is comes because of a past experience or a past thought which is getting triggered. And that's why that emotion has come up. So what happens when you start ignoring? At one point, it's like it will come and give a breakdown. Somewhere it will come and give you a breakdown. So instead, okay, you are facing an emotional imbalance. Don't think it after a couple of hours. You sit and analyze why I got into that emotion, what caused it, what can I do to, you know, for without any reoccurrence, what can I do? Or is it that I have to go communicate with another party? Communicate, but not when the emotions is on a high, but when you are in a very neutral state, or when you're just having a chit chat with your that other party during during your tea break or something. Some at some point when you both the parties are relaxed, which we don't do. We start blaming. But we'll not blame ourselves. We'll start blaming the other parties. The environment around us, we start blaming. It's not about ignorance. It's about accepting and validating and identifying the root cause of the problem. Okay. Even if if you're eating healthy and still if you're putting on weight, that is nothing but it's your emotions which is getting stored in your body. So how do you bring this into balance? Either as a coach, I usually tell my clients go for yoga. That's when your mind and body starts into becoming into a balance. Again, uh, this kind of a conversation will not end in recorded session. It might need couple of couple of episodes of the same this thing, because it's another ocean to dive into.
True, ma'am. The certain points you mentioned, now we try to avoid that emotion because accepting that I'm feeling this and there is a mistake that I made actually takes courage. We try to put it to the other party that because you did it, I'm feeling this, but we don't take the blame on ourselves that why I am feeling this, identifying the root cause. And acceptance is the first foremost thing that can actually start the healing process. And you can go for yogas and all that will calm your brain. So, ma'am, as you said,
Because
yeah,
go on, sir, go on.
yeah, please, please.
So I always say this: mind and body are part of the same system. It's not two different systems. Either you control your mind or mind is going to control you. And that's when I say you should never give your emotions the driver's seat. It'll drive you crazy. I myself had personal experiences for that matter. Yes.
Even I can relate. When emotions are high and you take the decision on spot, as you said, we should not take the decisions immediately when we are high on emotions. So when you're high on emotions, you don't look for facts, you don't look for some other things that might be the reality. We actually get impulsive and we take the reactions, and sometimes it can spoil the relation, it can hamper the deals, it can cause a lot of troubles. So now we talked about NLP, then we came for emotional intelligence. Now let us come to leadership. This is just a broad overview that we are taking about all those matters. In future, we can decode one concepts in deep as well. And you have a very strong portfolio. We can talk about more things like image consulting and all in future. So let's talk about leadership.
It's more of an holistic approach. It's not just one, but any transformation starts with your mindset, that is your internal states.
Hmm.
It's not the external. External will come later. But if that glow doesn't come from inside, whatever you do, it is not going to reflect it out.
True, ma'am. I think the listeners are going to get a lot of values out of this session. So let's talk about leadership now. You know, maybe those who are building startups or even to get promotion in their existing job, one thing is always discussed. You have to be leader, you have to be leader, develop leadership qualities. Let's decode this leadership without going into a lot of things. If you can just tell three important traits that a leader must have.
First, you should know the pathway. Or you should have the clarity what you should be doing if you're leading a team.
Okay.
Without you having the clarity, you cannot expect your team members to have that clarity. I'll give you a very simple example. If you take the law of the jungle, dogs always keeps barking, but lions or the king knows when to give its sound or when to give its roar. I always say this. So first you should have that clarity. Okay, I'm working in this particular organization. This is what the organization wants. And if I am heading that team in that organization, I should have the clarity. Or is there any support which I have to give to my team members so that they can work better? It's all about balancing that yin and yang of a person, or your masculine and your feminine energy of a person. The first is clarity as a leader. Or if you feel okay, how do you develop this? Be a follower of that leader. Understand what kind of character they are having. Understand what the way they communicate, the body language which they use. Second is having the subject knowledge. See, there are a lot of qualities, but then as far as I'm concerned, first is clarity, second is your subject knowledge, third, the practicality or how do you want to put into use. It's not what you study in the books. It's about how you are going to use it in the reality of life. If you don't know how to use it, then there's no point. Say you are reading a book like Monk Who Sold His, the 5 a.m. Club of Robin Sharma. It's more of you putting into use to really see the results of it. It's not just about you telling that I've read this 5 a.m. club. Now I'm a member of the 5 a.m. club. Doesn't work. Simple. Being a leader. It's like, you know, you should practice what you preach. As simple as that.
So when you said all these points, I just remembered a statement. I won't be able to quote it the way it was, but it meant like if you are a leader, your team members will follow you at a very energetic level or in a positive manner when they see that as a leader, you can do the task that you are asking them to do.
True.
That is, first of all, you have the clarity, you have the subject knowledge, and then you can actually inspire them. You can do the work. You're not just the one. I'm going out and I'm saying that I'm organizing an event. You do the anchoring, and I have the fear of public speaking. I can't anchor, and if I'm asking the other person to do it, that's a different scene. But if I can myself do it, but I'm saying that, okay, sir, I'm asking you to do it. Let's go. Do it, man. Because he knows that at the back of the mind, this individual has the experience and he will be supporting me in case if I fall, in case if I do a mistake. I feel that's one of the top qualities you discussed. Most of the people, they actually think that in leadership it's about making others do the work, but it's about, first of all, learning how to do the work, getting the background knowledge by yourself, and then you can actually ask others to do the work. So, ma'am, because of time constraints, we won't be able to have a lot of things. But yes, definitely, I think about 6 to 7 questions we discussed today. And if a person even starts implementing them, whether it's positive thinking, it's about the traits of leadership. That is, instead of building a team or directly jumping to make a team and giving them orders, work on your back end, work about your product, work on your knowledge, implementation of that, getting the clarity about NLP, about emotional intelligence, getting aware. I think if they do follow these steps, that will actually transform them a lot. Concluding this session, but before that, I have one acquisition. What is this DS Image Consulting actually doing? If you can just give a brief idea to all the listeners.
Okay. See, under DS Image Consulting, I do trainings for colleges as well as organizations. That is one segment. Two, there is one-on-one coaching and group coaching also for various topics like confidence, public speaking, leadership. It is depends on what kind of a problem you're coming to me with. Third, I have this programs where I do a accelerate program of 5 days of public speaking, NLP, emotional intelligence, leadership, lot of other topics. And from there, if you feel okay, I want to develop this more, then we can customize to exactly what your need with your duration. See, it's not about me offering what I have. It's about addressing what you want. So that's what we do. But again, it's more of an holistic approach, and image consulting is more of holistic approach and inner work. It's not about just your physical appearance, but it's more to it. DS is nothing but I made my name itself, my two first name and my last name's initial, and I put it that way. There's nothing unique to it. So this is what I do basically.
Wonderful, ma'am. So, wishing you the best for this DS Image Consulting. And definitely, you're doing
Thank
a
you.
phenomenal work in this. I see your LinkedIn profile in this. So,
Okay.
that's all for today's session, ma'am. I'm damn sure in future we are going to have more such discussions ahead that will actually help people a lot. So thank you so much for joining in today. Thank you so much everyone for watching this entire video. And let's conclude this meeting here. But this was the first time with you, ma'am. Not never the last. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much. Thank you.